Hey everyone, how are you all? Hope so you all are doing well. So let's start the story without any further conversation. Next day, it's still past. Jimin sit on Jimin sit on the chair. He is waiting for Yoongi to come. Waiter, sir, you order something? No, it's been 45 minutes you are here, Jimin. I am waiting for someone to come. Please, 5 minutes more. Waiter, sure, sir, he said. The things, Jimin, which things, Yoongi, you will go to know soon. I am hungry, let's order something. He said and called the waiter, then started to do order. Jimin is just watching him. Jimin, Yoongi, what is you are thinking to do? Yoongi, you will go to know soon. I said, nah, Jimin, but Yoongi, there is no but, Jimin. When I said I tell you, so I tell you. He said in Jimin's sign. He nodded. Jimin, their food come, they do the lunch. Yoongi, stay here. I come after pay. We have to go fast. We don't have much time. He said and go Jimin. If we have to take me somewhere, why we come here? He signed to see Yoongi. He sit on the chair. Uh, the he is not Yoongi whom whole university know. He is someone else. Jimin come on. Jimin come on. The place is dropped. Yoongi turn. He see him. Yoongi, what happened? Jimin, what is this? Yoongi, Yoongi, what? Jimin, the venue. What's all happening here? Yoongi, we do know. He said, make Jimin as my turn. Jimin, what? No. Yoongi, why not? Huh? Jimin, no. Yoongi, I can't do this. It's like I am my parents. Jimin, nothing happens. Yoongi, nothing happens. Jimin, see. I want to make our strong. That's why I am doing all this. Jimin, but Yoongi, you may right. Just trust me. He said in soft voice. Jimin don't know what he said. He don't want to. Said no as this is his wish also. Jimin, but Yoongi, nothing happens. Jimin, please. We have to do this. Jimin just nodded and they both see their friends. Hey man, Jimin, you are here, Chang, or what you think you get? And I don't know, Jimin Chang. I am Jimin. Don't be so. We all are with you, and you are not doing something. Jimin just nodded and father, come father. If you both ready, can we start? Jimin looked at Yoongi, who nodded. Father, mean Yoongi. Did you accept Park? Jimin, Yoongi, I do. For the Park, Jimin directs Min Yoongi. Jimin see him and then Tae-hoo nodded. He bought me, he said, and Jimin just remember about this. Yoongi on his hand and they all start clapping and Tae meet him. Taeyang, I am so happy for you. Jimin, happy? What you think? How mom dad react when they know all this? Yoongi, don't be. I am with you and no one know this till you want. Jimin, Jackie, yeah, this is also sequel like me and Jay. He said, make everyone eyes widen. Yan, what, how, when, Jing up. Jimin, you don't tell me, Jiang. I was about to tell you, but he said he don't know what he said. They all start laughing. Jimin, don't talk with me, Jiang. Don't do this. We thought to give you all surprise, Jungkook. How can you call your Yun because we are legends? Well, me too, Yun. Why? Hobby because you are. He said to make Yun confused. Others start laughing, and Yun make a pout. Yoongi smiled to see Jimin. Yoongi, let's go. Jimin, now where? Jungkook, I think he planned you also. He said. Jimin looking down. He is feeling. Yoongi, I am thinking about this. No doubt, he said in Jimin. Yoongi, oh, okay, sorry. Yoongi, alright guys, we are going. See you soon. Jungkook, hey, listen, you come office tomorrow or not? Jungkook, oh yeah, congratulations guys. You join office. Yoongi, yes, now I become a responsible. And after that, Jimin, Yoongi, oh my ass, okay, we are going. Jimin smiled to see him. Yoongi hold his hand and take him. Yeah, let's go, guys. Jungkook, yeah. They all also go. They come in. They come in an apartment. Jimin, Yoongi. Yoongi, huh? So finally I win. He said to make Jimin confused. Jimin, what? Yoongi, guys, you can come out, he said, and they all come out except Jian and Jiang. They sit on the couch. Jimin see them. He is not understanding what's all happening. Jimin, what is all this? Yoongi, Yoongi Park, Jimin. Everyone said right. You are so innocent, Jimin. Innocent? What do you mean? I am failing, Yoongi. Yoongi, you have to. You have to. Don't you feel when you mean Yoongi in front of the whole university? What you think? I forget everything, Jimin asked. Hmm. Yoongi, what Yoongi want to said? Yoongi contain you in front of the whole university. Now I am Jimin shocked. Jimin, you do all this, Yoongi. It's just a I don't you park, Jimin. What you think? I start to no way. He said and start laughing. Jimin stand there on his place. Yoongi, now go in your home house, Min Jimin. He said and go from the hobby, best of luck in your new life. He said and they all go. Jimin stand there not understanding what's all this happening. What 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 he think? And how can Yoongi his life is rolling from his life's eyes slowly. His all dreams is in front of his eyes. He can see in just some moments everything is changed. He see his hand really is a plan. The first now this Jimin he know as soon why he think to me like this. He think and close his eyes. Room door and go from there. Time skip. Jimin open his eyes. He see his best friend Yun and Mrs. Park sit here. Taeyang, thank God you, Jimin. Jimin, Yoongi. He whispered to young Jimin. Mrs. Park, my son. She Jimin. Mrs. Park, thank God you, my son. I thought I. She closed her eyes and started. Jimin remembered the whole scene. What Yoongi? His eyes. Mrs. Park, my son, you sit here. I bring something for you so you eat. She said and got to young Jimin. How it's happened? Jimin, how I come here? What's the champion? We found you on the you stay in at for almost 1 week. We were so Jimin, now you wake up. We are so happy. What's happened with you? What was you were doing there, Jimin? Oh, I am still Taeyang, Jimina, why are you saying this, huh, Jimin Taeyang? I want to know, Taeyang, Jimin. You don't know what you are saying, Jimin. I know, Taeyang. I am already from inside. Please, Taeyang, at least tell me what happened. Jimin, speak, Mrs. Parker, Mrs. Park, Jimin, son. Drink soup, Jimin. I don't want to, mom. Taeyang, phone start ringing. Call Mrs. Park. Tried to him, Jimin. I said to mom, I don't want to eat. He almost and closed his eyes because of the Mrs. Park. No, son, please don't. Jimin, mom, go from here. Mrs. Park, but Jimin, leave me. You all go. I don't want anyone here. Go from here. Why you are not understanding, Mrs. Park? Jimin, please, son, it's Yoongi. Jimin, if you don't want, I feel this, then leave. Mrs. Park, we are going. She looked at Young. Okay. Hmm. I was just changing my side. She looked at Yan. He becomes so okay, so I speak the next text now. What you are doing? You are doing he said then close the door he go. Jimin slowly open his eyes. He see what you are doing. He said and close the door he go. Jimin slowly open his eyes. He is feeling so peaceful. He see Yoongi. Sit beside Jim, his hand is drumming on his ears. While you, Yoongi, don't said this, Jimin. I will without you. Jimin, now this is your new, huh? You are here to do again. Yoongi, I don't. I explain you everything. Jimin, what explain, huh? I don't want to hear anything. Go from here. Yoongi, please, Jimin, listen me. Jimin, stand up. Stand up, you take the Jimin, I myself, Yoongi. Go from here. Yoongi, hey Jimin, please. Listen me, don't do this. This Jimin, I said I myself, Yoongi, go from here. Jimin, I said go. He and Jimin places on his Jimin, I myself. He said in low voice, Yoongi, take a step back. Now Yoongi, don't do anything. I am going. See, I am going. He said and go last time look at Jimin with his eyes. So Jimin stop him, but Jimin don't. He goes Jimin and start Jimin. You again want me like you do now, Yoongi. I don't have much. I start my life. I start to think everyone is same. Everyone is like my dad. He is thinking and on the ground. He don't know when he fell in sleep like this. He know if he continue all this soon he have to in the but he cares no way he don't. He just want one thing. He mean Yoongi so much maybe or he is just saying this to himself. Who know what's after 1 week Jimin come university. Only some days are left for the competition. He don't see Yoongi. After that, Jimin is doing practice. His mom said to him he don't go, but no, he don't listen her. He don't listen anyone and come Jimin good and now. Yan, we are going in canteen. Jimin come back in half an hour. He said that they all run Jimin sign to see them. He turned and see the teddy which holds her. This is the same which he give to Yoongi. He go and see this is Astron. He look up and see the balloons in the room and it's right. Jimin in minds what who's doing all this Yoongi. He is thinking when the door closed. Jimin see the door and he turn. Yoongi stand there and with the book. Jimin is not understanding now what he want to do. He about to go but Yoongi stand in front of him. Yoongi look at me please listen me. He Jimin, I am so by all this. Yoongi, so please go from here. Yoongi, Jimin, at least he speak but Jimin open the door and go. He sign and sit on the chair. I am here. What happened? Hobby, hey Namjoon, this is our Taeyang. Yes, this is all your Jungkook. Don't tell me. If you tell me you all are going to do this, then I don't let you do this. You don't know him. His dad called him in, and he said sorry. Till now, he started Yoongi Hyun said so many things. What do you think? He listened him? No way, Aram. You don't. Aram, tell us, Taeyang. You ask me before doing all this, Jungkook. I know we do, but what we do now, Taeyang, no one can do anything. He's so because of the he become more. He don't listen me also. He's you all think this before doing this, he said, and go leave the whole group a small really their life like no one can do even the don't do this. Then Jimin sit on the bed. She is thinking about Chungi. The way he said sorry now why he is doing all this. Park Jimin is so he don't listen anyone but when Jimin he have a soft place for his what he do about this. He is thinking all this when The window knocked. He know who come. He don't want to open the window. Yoongi open the door. He heard and open the door. Yoongi enter in the room. Jimin is he never seen him like this. Jimin, you are Yoongi, or what I do when you don't listen me? He said it about to Jimin. Yoongi, he sit him on the bed. Yoongi hold his hand. Yoongi, so much and you don't even listen me. How can you do this, Jimin? Yoongi, go from here. You are not. He said and stand up. But Yoongi, him on him. Yoongi turned. Yoongi, you don't know how much. When you listen me today. I speak and you listen. What is my? I do a small, and you start to me. Jimin, huh? Yoongi, why you? He said and. Okay, so I have to speak on this text. I really don't want to. Like seriously, Yoongi, I'm with you. He said and you don't want to. I really don't want to speak here. Like what just happened is really something. Only 10 seconds are left. Okay, so the next text is half voiceover are left. Okay, this 1, 2, 3. I have to speak here also, and this is what I don't want to. Okay, so the next text is he don't know what he is saying. Yoongi is okay. I also don't do voiceover on this text. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next text is going to start. I don't know why I write like this. It's just I write. Next day, sun is shining so brightly. Jimin sit on the side of the bed. No one come in his room early in the morning, so he is not in a hurry. He look at Yoongi, who is sleeping peacefully. Jimin see him. He go for fresh up. Yoongi open his eyes because the sun rays. He see the room and hurriedly sit on the bed. Yoongi, what I am doing here? He think, and Jimin come outside. Yoongi almost in him. Jimin didn't look at him. He know Yoongi wake up, and then Yoongi see himself. What is this? He see the and went to Jimin. Yoongi, Jimin, go from here. Mom come to see me in sometimes. He said without any. Yoongi, Jimin, how I come here? Tell me, Jimin, you were when you come here. He said and continue his work. Yoongi, Jimin, what I do? Tell me. Jimin stays silent. Yoongi, tell me, Jimin, what I do? Jimin see his hands. Yoongi, Jimin, I ask you something. He said and turn him. He stop when he see the Yoongi, Jimin, you will for this. Yoongi, Jimin, you think this? Yoongi, answer if I do this, Jimin. He said, John, looking down. Jimin, you think you me, Yoongi, I myself to you still. Jimin turn. Jimin, go from here. Mom come here any minute. He said, and Yoongi go from there. Jimin didn't turn. He closed his eyes and sighed. He sit on the bed. While life is like this, and the thing is becoming more and more. This is what he don't want. This if he have some days off. Come university. Jimin come university. 1 week passed. Jimin is not feeling. He is taking his milk because of them, but he always feel like he's and he don't want to eat. He think maybe because of eating so much milk now. Also he sit with his friends. They are doing lunch, but he don't. Yoongi is from here, but he come just to see Jimin, like now he sits on another table. Jimin, I am guys, see you soon. He said and stand up. He just takes some step, and he feel his head as he take a step back to young. What happened, Jimin? Jimin, I am okay. He said and about to go, but he become suddenly about to run. Yoongi, Jimin. Jimin, he called him, but he don't got any response. He didn't waste time and take him from here. Jimin lay on Jimin lay on the bed, his eyes is closed. How he become? Don't you know he's Yoongi? Yes, who you are, Yoongi? How can you do this, huh? Like this? And so, Mr. Minda, it's good if you finish here. He said, Jin Yoongi. To same Yoongi, there is no. Okay, so no other way. The way they both you know there is no. You decide otherwise is in. You can talk and decide what you have to do. He said and go from there. Yoongi see Jimin and sit in front of him. Yoongi, Jimin, look at please. I am so. He said it's enough for him. He can't take this anymore. He becomes so happy to know he's going to be. But now what? Now what happened? Jimin heard his voice. He opened his eyes and see him. Jimin, I am still. He said in his voice. Yoongi looked at him and him. Yoongi, it's all because of me, Jimin. It's all because of me. He is saying and Jimin closed his eyes as he heard what he said. Jimin, he said and Yoongi see him. Yoongi see him. Jimin, you really my life, Yoongi. Yoongi, Jimin, my. He said to Yoongi, but now he don't said anything to Jimin. Jimin, you the last happiness also from me. Yoongi sign as no. Jimin, go from here somewhere. Min Yoongi, he said and roll from his. Yoongi, yes, I have to. Jimin, I have to. He said and run from there. Present Yoongi from his eyes and look at Jimin. Yoongi, I give you so much. Now I will not. After that, I try my best to find you, but I don't. Then they tell me you are. Okay, so this is the third last scene. It start from 23, 33, 11 scene. Enough is from the game. The night passed like this. Next day, Jimin wake up. He sit on the bed. Jimin, oh no, how can I sleep like this? Huh? Jimin, go in your room. He about to go when Yoongi enter in the room and see him. Yoongi, you are going somewhere, Jimin. I am going in my room. Yoongi, this is your room. Jimin, this is not my room. He said and about to go when Yoongi, 4 years pass. Jimin, still you are saying now you have to listen me. Benjamin, on that day I said those things. It's just a Namjoon said me. You never me. I do whatever I want and I accept the offers. I know I do. And you so much tell me that it's not enough for me. 4 years is not enough for me. Jimin, he said and here he and here he is. He really want to. Yoongi me now. Now, Jiminy, please, I am so sad. And he said and placed his head on his Jimin, seeing him. This is so unexpected for him. Yoongi is Jimin. Yoongi, please, I am without you. Please, Jimin, don't. Yoongi, give me one chance, just one more chance. He said, and Jimin nodded. Jimin, I give you. He said, and Yoongi, look at. Yoongi, really? Jimin nodded. He is also now. Both Yoongi, he said, and for some chance, then Yoongi wiped the. Yoongi, now I don't let a single come in your eyes. This is my promise, Jimin. I also react too much. Yoongi, forget everything and let's start a new life. Jimin nodded to see him. Jimin, I have. I have to go. I have to go now. Yoongi, no, you don't go anywhere. Jimin, no, I go. Yoongi, you are still. Jimin, if I was, I never listen you. Jimin, yeah, Yoongi, yeah, Jimin, him and run from the room. Yoongi, you too much, Jimin. A small hour life, but now I don't let something happens no matter what's the situation. Now I give you happiness, the every happiness of the world. Second last scene. Jimin is in Jimin is in kitchen. Mrs. Min come. Mrs. Min, good morning, son. Jimin, good morning. Mrs. Min, you do breakfast? Jimin, no, I am fine. I do after some time. Mrs. Min, how's Yoongi? She said, and Jimin stopped on his place. Mrs. Min singing with smile. Mrs. Min, how's Yoongi? Jimin, huh? Mrs. Min, I know who you are, son. Mrs. Min chuckled to see him. Mrs. Min, okay, don't make you more confused. Here everyone know you and Yoongi get and what he, my son, do. She said, gentleman looking down. He is feeling so. Now, Mrs. Min, I am so happy, Jimin. He chose you. Jimin, on that time you son, you so much. I remember he always in night. He said, Mom, Jimin, no, he don't. Mrs. Min, I try my best to understand him this, but no. He don't listen me, but now I am happy you both are trying to understand each other. Jimin, my son, you so much. Please don't him. She said, and Jimin look at him. Jimin, I don't, auntie, but my parents. Mrs. Min, you do not, and what you is not a small thing. We talk with them. Jimin, I, Yoongi. Mom is right. Jimin turn. He see Yoongi. My mom is so understanding, right? Jimin look at him and then Mrs. Min. He don't know what he said. He asked from Yoongi or he see Mrs. Min. Mrs. Min, oh my, you make my son confused. Go from here, Yoongi. What I did? Mrs. Min, go from here. Yoongi, you go from here. Mrs. Min, I don't. What you do, Yoongi? I take him from here. Mrs. Min, he don't go with you, Yoongi. Oh, really, huh? Mrs. Min, yeah, Yoongi, come. Jimin, let's go. Jimin, no. He stopped on his place. Mrs. Min smiled. Mrs. Min, now you, she said, and called. Yoongi spot me in front of her. Jimin, you tell everyone about you, Yoongi, the day we when we got. I come and tell them they just don't know you are dad friend's son. Even I myself don't know. Jimin sighed. Jimin, I am feeling so. Yoongi, it's for you, Jimin. Jimin, Yoongi, don't even try to meet. Yoongi, call me senior. Jimin, no, he said and roll his eyes. Yoongi, please. Jimin gave him and go from there. He stays silent. Something for Something for you. Jimin said made he make up out and go. Yoongi chuckled to see him. Yoongi, he is really a drama king. He think and go. Yoongi hope so are is with us right now. Jimin, we will be so happy, but he's this is the third last scene, sorry. But he know the once again by this. This is the second last scene. Time passed almost 1 month passed. Jimin to come in front of Mr. Min. Mrs. Min always noticed. She is so happy to see his son is happy. Jimin and Yoongi always had, and it's because of Jimin. And who's Yoongi that said something today? Mr. and Mrs. Park is coming to take Jimin. Jimin is so happy he meet with his parents after a long time. But Jimin said he go. Now. They had for this. You all know Yoongi and Jimin is famous up there. Yoongi, Jimin, why you are not listening me? Jimin, because you are saying I go back at my house. Yoongi, this is also your house. Jimin, but now I go with my mom, dad. Are you Jimin, I miss you so much. Let's go back. Mrs. Park chuckle to see him. Mr. Min and Mrs. Min come. They all meet with each other. Jimin sits beside his mother. Yoongi signed to see him. By the way, Jimin is making more. Jimin, mom, let's go. Mrs. Park, yeah, let's go. Mrs. Min, Jimin, go back. We are thinking to set him. He stay here for forever. She said, and Jimin hide his face. Mr. Park means Mrs. Min explained them everything. Yoongi sit there confidently as they don't do something. Mrs. Park hold Jimin's hand. Mrs. Park heard everything. Mr. Park heard everything carefully. Mrs. Park, Minnie, you don't tell your mom also. Jimin stays silent. He don't know what he said. Well, she don't said Jimin. Jimin is from his father. Today's kids is too much, Mr. Min. I myself want to make Jimin my son. You know, Yoongi from childhood. If you said then get Mr. Park. This is already. They are already. Mr. Min, you are right. So you ask from Jimin what he want now. If he want to stay here, then they stay here. Start their new life, and we all are happy. Jimin, what you want? Yoongi in mind. Yoongi in mind. I know what he said. I take my Jimin, I want to come with you. He said, and they all check out. Jimin is feeling so. Mrs. Park, now I understand why Jimin don't want to come. Jimin mom, they all found him so cute. Yoongi, who is by his cuteness, Mr. Park and the other decide. They all go. Jimin go to take his mobile. Jimin, bye. I am going. Yoongi, I don't talk with you. Jimin, okay, then do with someone else. Yoongi, hey, why you become serious? I am just kidding, Jimin. You don't do. It's good. He said and giggled. Then one Yoongi signed to see him. He smiled. Finally, everything become alright. They are really kid. Last scene. Time skip. Okay, so I think this is the third last scene and the third last text. Time skip. They both get. It's been so. Yeah, the last and the third last text. It's been so time. Everything is going to be alright. Mr. Min's sister and her daughter go London for some work. Yoongi Jimin is so happy in their life. Yoongi becomes so. After Jimin never know he's that much. Jimin is not. Meet this you all give and he stopped when he realized what he said Yoongi or what you were second last text or what you were saying something. Jimin, nothing, he said and sit on the bed. Yoongi sits beside him. Yoongi, I am totally with you. Jimin giggled to hear until I feel like Jimin sign and make up out. Wow. So it's finally 1:30. Yoongi go again. Okay, sorry, Jimin is sit with us and Yoongi, you take them. Jimin nodded. Yoongi, it's okay now. From her, we again got Jimin. I don't want to. He places it on his shoulder. Yoongi, okay, well, no, this is always like this. See you soon. Hope so you all like. Bye. See you soon, Sange.